Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, the shorter-term Bitcoin RSI is once again testing this important line of support, while the US dollar index is continuing the breakout to the upside after that small retest just recently, which I'll talk about in just a moment, so definitely stick around. First of all, just giving you a really quick update here on the DXY chart, also known as the US dollar index chart, here on the daily time frame. And right now, as I'm recording this video, the US dollar index has actually seen a bounce from this previous area of resistance, which I talked about in my last video. And in case you missed that video, basically over the last one day, the DXY, or the US dollar currency index, actually pulled back into this previous area of resistance where we have previously found resistance back here and also just here. But obviously more recently, over the last few days or so, we have actually seen a breakout above that area, above this previous high, with multiple daily candle closes actually confirming the breakouts. And now what we have seen is actually this previous resistance now become new support, because once again, over the last one day, we have actually seen a bounce in the DXY from that previous area of resistance, now acting as new support. And so technically speaking, that is actually bullish price structure for the US dollar index, because anytime where we break above resistance and actually flip that resistance into new support, then obviously that is price structure heading in the more bullish direction, heading towards the next price target, which, by the way, this price target, which should be the next major resistance based on these previous highs, is sitting at approximately 105.6 to 105.7. And basically, if we end up seeing the US dollar index continue this breakout to the upside up towards that next level of resistance, then obviously that would mean a bullish movement in the DXY, which would likely correspond to a bearish movement in the crypto market. Because once again, the US dollar index and Bitcoin, but really the overall crypto market, is essentially inversely correlated. So if the US dollar index is moving to the upside, then that is not good news for Bitcoin and really the overall crypto market, as we can see right here. Because this chart is still on the daily time frame, the candlesticks up here is the Bitcoin price on the daily chart, and this red line is the DXY, or US dollar index. And as you can clearly see, anytime where the DXY is trending to the upside, that is usually when the price of Bitcoin and really the overall crypto market is looking more bearish. But on the flip side, when the DXY is actually moving to the downside, when the US dollar index is bearish, that is usually good news for Bitcoin and really the overall crypto market. And so basically, for the Bitcoin bulls out there and for the crypto bulls out there, we would actually need to see some sort of reversal or major rejection from this next resistance in order to flip much more bullish again on Bitcoin and on crypto. But at least for now, while the DXY is continuing this strong bullish trend heading towards this next price target after the recent bullish breakouts, once again, this is technically bearish for Bitcoin and crypto, at least for the somewhat shorter term trend, as we've seen back here and also back here. And now, if you're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, once again, right now, the price of Bitcoin is still trading just above this important area of support, sitting in between around 24.3K to 25.3K. And as for the daily Bitcoin price oscillators, right now, the daily Bitcoin MACD is still showing very low momentum, at least in the somewhat shorter term. And as for the daily Bitcoin RSI, once again, this has not yet actually broken out of this bearish trend, so it's still technically forming these lower highs, not yet broken out above this descending line of resistance. And so technically speaking, that means this bearish divergence on the daily time frame is still somewhat affecting the price of Bitcoin, because we have not really seen a proper breakout and invalidation here in the RSI. But what is potentially forming, as I've said over the last few days, is a possible bullish divergence here on the daily time frame, because we are already seeing lower lows in the price of Bitcoin in the daily candle closes, while also forming some higher lows here in the daily Bitcoin RSI. But at least as of right now, even though this is potentially forming right now, it is not yet confirmed. And now, if you're zooming into a smaller time frame, looking at the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, technically speaking, this small bullish divergence is still currently active here on the 6-hour chart, because at least as of right now, we have not yet seen a proper confirmed breakdown in the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI below this ascending line of support or into new lower lows. And so while this is the case, while the RSI is holding holding above this line of support, forming higher lows. Once again, this means this small bullish divergence is still currently active, which basically means as of right now, just in the somewhat shorter term here on the smaller time frames, we're due to see a bit of a pause from that bearish trend on the daily time frame. And obviously in the shorter term over the last few days, this is exactly what we've seen, mostly in the form of choppy sideways price action with actually a very slight bullish relief from when this bullish divergence confirmed a few days ago now here on the 6-hour chart. But as I mentioned in the intro of this video, right now the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI is actually coming in for another test of this line of support. So if we actually see a break to the downside in this line of support with confirmation, like for example 6-hour candle closes actually confirming that break to the downside in the RSI, then in that case that would actually help to invalidate this small bullish divergence, which would potentially point towards the resumption of that bearish trend on the daily time frame. And as for short-term support and resistance, looking at the Bitcoin order books, we still have a decent amount of buy orders in between around 25.3k to 25.5k approximately. And so that price range right there should act as a bit of short-term support as well as $25,000 per Bitcoin. And as for resistance, looking at the sell orders, we still have a decent amount of sell orders in between around 26.2k to 26.4k, which should act as a decent amount of resistance in the shorter term. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart. And right now, the price of ETH is getting extremely close to a possible breakdown from this important area of support, which is still sitting in between around 1620 to 1660 approximately. And as you can see in this volume profile indicator on the daily time frame, we don't really have a lot of support immediately to the downside if we actually confirm a break well below 1620. And so what that means is we could potentially see a fairly quick move to the downside if a confirmed break happens first. And if you're looking at the daily Ethereum price oscillators, right now the daily Ethereum MACD is still showing very low momentum. And as for the daily Ethereum RSI, once again, like Bitcoin on the daily time frame, this has not yet broken out from this lower high structure, which means technically we're still looking more bearish than bullish, especially because this potential bullish divergence has not yet confirmed. So once again, that is something that is forming, but at least as of right now, it is not yet confirmed. And as for other support levels to the downside, in case 1620 actually breaks, then in that case, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool, we still have the 50% retracement level sitting at around 1510 to 1520. And below that level, in more of a bearish scenario, we have the important golden pocket area of support sitting in between around 1360 to 1.4k. And if you're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 6-hour ETH to US dollar chart, right now the 6-hour Ethereum RSI is still holding above this ascending line of support in the short term, forming higher lows. And so once again, like I said earlier in the video for Bitcoin on the 6-hour chart, this technically means this small bullish divergence is still currently active, at least in the shorter term here, which is once again pointing towards a little bit of a pause from that bearish trend on the daily time frame. So even though we're still technically within that daily bearish trend, once again, just in the shorter term, as in what we've seen over the last few days and potentially over the next few days coming soon, is just a bit of a pause from that bearish trend. So not as much bearish price action, and instead either some choppy sideways price action, if not a slight bullish relief, which is basically what we've seen over the last 1 week or so. But if we do end up seeing a confirmed break to the downside in the 6-hour Ethereum RSI below this line of support and forming new lower lows below these previous lows, then in that case, once again, that would be a signal pointing towards the invalidation of this bullish divergence in the shorter term, which once again, in that case, would point towards the resumption of that bearish trend on the daily time frame. But either way, if you want to know how to make a lot of money in crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or simply chopping around sideways in the short term like right now, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action like right now. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.